Hello, hello. Wait a second. Hello. Okay. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Hello. So, I don't know what I'm supposed to be able to talk about Spider-Man. I'm trying to settle myself or ground myself a little bit. Ground? Why do people ground yourself a little bit? I don't know. I'm trying to be able to see things Spider-Man as it is, or I don't know which angle or what's supposedly part of Spider-Man I should be able to talk about today. But before that, let's just play some freaking tunes a little bit. I don't know. Just play a little bit of freaking music. Well, playing freaking music is already gonna set up the freaking tone or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that I'm gonna do, it's to set up whatever it is that I'm gonna be able to talk about when it comes to Spider-Man. Now, I'm seeing things. My algorithm is showing me a lot of freaking political things stuff. I've seen Asmon Gold's video when it comes to the 40k the 40k Marvel Rivals thing. Got me to thinking, what is bullying? How is bullying seen these days? Because when it comes to freaking Spider-Man, you get some generational thing going on with freaking Spider-Man. Spider-Man in 2017 is different from the Spider-Man we saw in like 2004. No, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is so freaking different from Spider-Man. uh, uh, Tom Holland Spider-Man. The bullying that was said in there are so freaking different things, but they're bullying in itself. They're still called freaking bullying, right? And those are the things that I've somehow experienced and then I talked about when it comes to things like this. And it got me to think back and look back at myself when it comes to experiences, be able to relate to, be able to say that's what probably I do when I was in freaking high school, but I have to reframe it in ways that so freaking different. I don't think stuff about freaking Spider-Man, but like a part of me just wants to just wants to like doom scroll and just watch freaking videos for the sake of freaking entertainment, but not entertainment, infotainment, as they do say. Like educational edutainment, educational entertainment, and so forth is still entertainment. And whoa, yeah, that's what I do all day. Hey, this is what we do all day, man. This is what I do. I just freaking scroll out the freaking thing. Just wake up and just scroll freaking things. And somehow I try to make it much more. You gotta like, yo, I forgot you're already here in the freaking stream. Usually it takes like freaking minutes, but anyways, I did tell it was like afternoon my time. Yeah, and it comes to things like that. But yeah, when it comes to things that I've been watching so far, like I try to make it productive as I watch because I have a freaking stream. I try to like connect it to freaking stream, like somehow I'll be able to like, oh, this is content that I'll be able to talk about later on in my stream. But I have to like think in a little bit and think in a way that I could like somehow agree to it and not agree to it. But mostly everything that I watch is like something that I agreed upon because something I agree upon are things that I watch are things that I somehow be able to tolerate. It's just hard for me to, well, some things that I be able to tolerate or not. Some things that I kind of like iffy has like a question mark if I don't know, kind of middle on the fence on, right? Things that I'm in the fence on, things that I agree and not agree about, mostly agree. And that's the thing that I've watched recently. Watched Asmon Gold's video. I did not freaking finish it, but because all he freaking did in that video was just completely take this person, just completely nitpick at this person, and take this freaking bully, as they do say, and just like held them accountable for what the things that they have done, and stating these freaking people that he agrees with, and they just go on, they go on at him. It's kind of nice. I don't know if it's nice or should be done because like if I did make a freaking mistake, and that's my freaking mistake, uh, sometimes we do those kinds of crazy mistakes, right? Speaking of when it comes to freaking mistakes and like being held accountable and trying to be accountable for our mistakes, sometimes we get to know it a much later on that we did a bad freaking thing, right? Sometimes we know and we think that we're doing what is freaking right, but when it comes to like grave ass freaking mistakes, is because of our belief that we're always freaking right on whatever it is that we say or freaking do, not being not holding or not playing to ourselves this what we so called devil's advocate, because when it comes to this when it comes to freaking writing or bad freaking writing, it happens also when it comes to like freaking writing and bad freaking writing, or trying to push some sort of like ideologies or something thought provoking or something political. Because when it comes to those freaking things, when it comes to freaking politics and being what is right and what is wrong for us, we sometimes need not just always say that we are always freaking right. When it comes to provoking freaking thought and what's good for freaking proper writing, this is somehow a flaw when it comes to the Avatar freaking movies. I've like watched a video essay about Avatar freaking movies saying this uh flaw when it comes to freaking James Cameron's take on it is just what is okay. It's kind of like that when it comes to it. Okay, okay. Yes, I'll do. I'll try to go for whispers, man. But I'd rather like do it in freaking stream. Try to keep this. Uh, try to be all right and be fine because I need to somehow set out freaking boundaries. I tried to make this. I tried to make this streaming thing a thing for me and going for whispers and doing all this. I know it feels like that, but it's just one freaking viewer, so it's supposed to be something like that. But I need to develop myself or starting from ground one or ground zero to set up things. I know I appreciate the thought. I appreciate the freaking effort. I know you mean well when it comes to like doing whispers, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not because because someday some days or sometimes it does happen like that, and kind of like don't want to. Yeah, yes, it is like that. So as from someone as talking when it comes to like knowing what is right and seeing things like that, and you have the freaking grave mistake of doing those things, one thing of avoiding and going to a point where you get this freaking get called out way too much for like a grave mistake that you've done, always because you're thinking what you've always been doing is right. Yes, something like that. Like for me, probably what I'm doing here or whatever it is that I'm trying to do here, I always think it is right. I try to think it is right, but I have to like somehow play devil's advocate. I have somehow be able to like think in ways or like accept freaking ways that are contrasting or that are against whatever it is that I'm doing. So I don't know what's against what I'm doing. Trying to turn this streaming site, this freaking website, using a website just specifically for people playing video games, and like turning it into something freaking else, right? Uh, it seems kind of different and kind of hard to be able to do, but it is something like that. But before it is somehow like that when it comes to like someone's direction as to how they do it, and probably let's just take it as a relationship as a vision of like the vision of a freaking director and the studio's vision for a freaking movie. Yes, the studio's vision is be able to like take on the freaking director and have this overall. It must be a collaborative freaking effort, right? We want to see and understand that making movies is a collaborative effort between every single one and the freaking people that worked on it. But when it comes to studio execs and freaking directors, the director is hired for the freaking vision, but somehow the vision of the director isn't always the right freaking way to be able to do it. They're hired to do a certain vision in a certain kind of way, though. They're hired with their vision or their take in a certain kind of formula, or your take in the your take on how a Marvel movie should work. But you must understand how Marvel movies works first, and that's probably this disconnect sometimes when it comes to disconnect, or sometimes this freaking struggle when it comes to executives and freaking directors and creatives, right? The business side and the creative side when it comes to this freaking things. The business side is you want the message to be very clear and very fun and not too way too heavy, so that it's much more tolerable or much more palatable by the freaking masses. We have to like achieve and create as much masses or much market as fucking possible. But sometimes we don't understand how people are doing these days, right? Sometimes people freaking grow or the masses freaking grow as we do see as other approaches when it comes to freaking film are, because it shows with the freaking directors that you freaking put and the freaking people that you take on, it changes. And it's just a matter of like understanding the audience, what the audience freaking wants. And sometimes these days it's kind of hard to see what the audience freaking wants, because everything seems to be personalized. Everything that they watch and see things, it seems to be personalized, and much more deeper freaking meaning sometimes kind of reaches out, or sometimes it's because it's so freaking personalized that we want to see some sort of freaking community or something that binds us together in these freaking things that are huge, right? Yeah, and one of those things that binds us together is understanding and empathizing with the character of Peter Parker. Okay, this is my transition now to talking about freaking Spider-Man. The character of freaking Peter Parker. The character of Peter Parker, who he is, Spider-Man, the symbol of freaking Spider-Man, and what he does to us as freaking the people in the world. And that's what it is, right? Uh, when it comes to those things, um, uh, when it comes to freaking Spider-Man, the things that we connect about it is eventually our teenage freaking years. Our teenage years, something that's just very easily relatable. Probably something easily relatable, but somehow you have to give enough to add a little more depth to the actual people who are in that freaking situation, right? Sometimes us we be able to understand like this is just we get older people like me, probably it's nostalgia bait, right? Nostalgia to freaking Spider-Man, what he is when it comes to those things, to be able to relate to freaking Spider-Man. So add the nostalgia, give something of us somehow be able to like people still be able to like identify and relate to when it comes to freaking Spider-Man. But there are just things. There are actual freaking students, students or teenagers at the freaking time to be able to understand this is what's teenagers now. Something much more clarifying, or something it says what it is, some truth to the actual freaking matter of what is being represented. So what is being represented is teenage freaking years, our formative freaking years, where we are in freaking life as being teenagers. The teenagers being able to like run, being able to like having this budding freaking talent in all of us. When we all at a time, at times where we think we have this freaking potential, where we had the freaking calling, we were called for something that we will see or can do freaking greater, much more, and we are like here again, because it's not always a perfect freaking time where we're at the top of the world, and we wanted to go back to that freaking place, and we wanted to somehow be able to like rush ourselves to be able to go back and go to a place where we are like doing something freaking great. It's not always the freaking time. It's not always the big freaking thing that we're always like able to freaking do. But in this freaking thing, we get to empathize this freaking part of Peter Parker to whatever it is that he's going through in this freaking movie. And that's what teenagers feel also. When I was a teenager, I always thought I was like rushing and always looking forward, always wanting to go to finally adult freaking stuff and to become and fully be actualized as a freaking adult. But it's not always like that. You have to like wait your freaking time for it to finally be able to come. But sometimes you have to take on the initiative, right? You have to take on initiative and do it yourself, because you don't have like you have all these freaking roadblocks and all these freaking people saying it's not freaking time. Probably because of your feeling, it gives a freaking message that when you think you are, or you can do all these freaking things now, you probably are in the freaking right freaking time to do what it is that you wanted to be able to freaking do, and that's what Spider-Man is. That's what this movie is all about, right? That's like one part of this movie is all about. And when it comes to being able to like see things like clarity as to what it is now and back in the day, what bullying is takes on the form of like physical freaking violence. Not to say that bullying doesn't still take on physical violence these days. It's just that bullying takes different kinds of form. When you get called out and get to do all these freaking things, like it finds ways, like subtle. It finds ways and becomes much more subtler. When it's something very very obvious, it finds a way to become subtler and much more. It takes on a much more different freaking form, right? True, but it's still something there. The elements of freaking bullying is like seeing as if it's making the person feel like they are out, that they don't belong, freaking bunch of freaking outcasts, as they do say, a bunch of freaking losers, right? Because we don't want freaking losers. We don't want this freaking not being wanted, right? We don't want you. That's why this is happening. And this is happening to you, and nobody gives a freaking shit. You like somehow be able to like achieve some forms of freaking suffering, or achieve some sort of, what do you call this? Not yes, you get to suffer, and everybody says you deserve to freaking suffer because you're like that, but not not warranted, right? The suffering isn't warranted. It's just there for the sake for not the right reasons. You're being punished not for the right reasons, something like that, right? You're being outcasted. You're having this freaking suffering not because you are accountable for the bad things that you've done, but because you are. Sometimes it's way too much. You just get blown up. Way too much for what you is needed for you to be able to like called out for. You get be called out for these freaking things, and that's already your thing, right? Something bad freaking happens, and all those freaking things come to you, and that is freaking bullying. Uh, it's just way too much freaking something. Sometimes it takes in the form of the way too much freaking punishment. But when it comes to like freaking Peter Parker, it doesn't seem that they deserve this freaking thing coming from freaking Flash, whatever it is that Flash is trying to do, right? Those kinds of freaking kinds of bullying. Like somehow Flash Thompson is still a freaking bully, even though he's not like it. But it seems like much probably like a fucking dick of a person. Yeah, freaking awful freaking person. But it does take form in that, and it's kind of cool uh when it gets to, it's just kind of cool and cathartic when it gets to see him. You see Peter Parker drives his freaking car and crashes it like to- totally total the car. It's kind of fun and nice to be able to see that. Yeah, and that's something nostalgic for us, like for me, much more older person, to be able to like really appreciate and see what it is now. Sometimes it's hard to be able to actually see it rather than the actual people themselves, and it's just hard to be able to interact and see things like that in the real freaking time, because you see it as immature but not immature. It seems like a place for us to be able to gather and be able to like, ah, that's what's happening there, right? That's what's freaking actually happening, and I got to understand it through this. And sometimes it is like that. Uh, Conversation of art imitating, when it comes to this freaking things like that, right? Having a good freaking character, like having a good freaking conflict of freaking story is to understand things, understanding things and being comes to freaking conflict is really good. The conflict in the story, when it comes, when you see the freaking villain and why the villain needs to be able to do this, it's kind of there, it's settled there, but it's not explained way too much as to what it is needed. Because you see freaking Vulture, you need to see like there an analysis mode, a freaking analysis as I analyze it. It seems off, right? It seems off. It seems kind of like unwarranted as to the Vulture's freaking motivation or whatever it is that he's trying to do. unless we had to like learn a little bit more of like the characters somehow to like better fix these freaking things. Okay, I've like trying to emulate whatever it is that I've watched, and this is the things that I've watched showing up on how I do this or how I say what I need to be able to say. And because due to freaking practice, things that I've watched, things that I'm learning, I'm learning from the freaking past to be able to like say to you much more clear as to freaking Spider-Man. And this is my reaction to it. When it comes to analysis and when it comes to freaking watching it, everything seems fine and freaking dandy. But here is a what if freaking situation. There's some sort of like freaking doubt as to the believability of the motivations of freaking Vulture and freaking Spider-Man. Let's just say, let's just say Spider-Man is freaking poor, right? And when it comes to like freaking these finances or whatever it is that he's doing, uh, as a devil's advocate, as they say, probably it's not as good as a story as we thought it out to be, but probably not. You gotta, it's not a perfect freaking movie, okay? But it's good. It's so well freaking done, but it's done, it's just like done in a way that for me watching it, it seems like a good freaking comedy movie. The jokes are freaking good. It landed, but stating the seriousness as to the villain again, when it comes to the freaking villain, it doesn't seem like the conflict between the villain is something freaking good. Yes, he's saying the right freaking words in this freaking situation, but the only problem I have is like, what more do you fucking need? Like, it seems like the Vulture is so fucking rich and wanted to be more freaking. It's like somehow you don't see this freaking conflict when it comes to the freaking Vulture. This is my problem with it, right? My problem with it is I don't see the conflict when it comes to freaking Vulture and as to his need to be able to do these freaking jobs. Yeah, Spider-Man goes in and just calls him out that he's doing bad freaking things. But for the Vulture to keep on continuing doing these freaking bad things, like he's smart. We knows he's freaking. We know he's fucking smart. Like he has a fucking. Like, but when it comes to his need and somehow being able to like, having these drastic freaking changes, that this is the freaking last job, whatever it is that he's trying to do, doesn't seem to be aligned of what it actually is. Because he seems to be shown that he is freaking rich. It doesn't seem to be shown that he is under or like running out of freaking money. It doesn't show that. It just shows that the last freaking job would be the last freaking job ever. And you see it in his freaking reaction that is like freaking awful. But it's just not enough for me to be able to understand and empathize with the freaking villain. I don't know with the villain's motivation as to what it is that it needs to be done for him. Because he shows this. He showed this freaking character that someone be able to like, when it comes to these freaking heroes, all they ever do is not care about us, and we are the freaking little guy. It's all about caring about the little guys, right? But in this freaking movie, it doesn't seem to be able to like understand that it's all about caring about the little guys. Yes, it is. It seems like it is small scale. That's why he was been under for so freaking long. But this, whatever his motivation is, to be able to like say these freaking things. Yes, we get to see him being cut off and like going bankrupt. But this was 8 years later after doing the freaking crime. Shouldn't he be done doing something else when it comes to this? I don't know, man. Shouldn't we see a little bit more like when it comes to him doing this? But it still needs to be somehow doing this out of freaking necessity, out of necessity from freaking bankrupt. And then we see his fucking house, and we see his freaking house is freaking huge and is fucking loaded and rich. So what is the necessity? It's disconnecting for me when it comes to this necessity to do the freaking jobs and do the heists. But we see it in freaking Spider-Man though. It's very clear when it comes to freaking Spider-Man going and pushing out, doing things for the little guy, right? But it's like not an Avengers freaking job, whatever his Vulture is. But when it comes to like small scale freaking weapons, they're making weapons that are the weapons, the things, the methods of like uh Vulture making these freaking weapons, making objects and weapons that are just being used by small scale freaking runners, which is kind of like the biggest problem. Because like small ass freaking crimes, I know they're still freaking crimes and I know they're freaking bad, but when it comes to freaking small ass crimes like robbery of like an ATM freaking thing, Yeah, like when it comes to like people robbing freaking ATMs and just people trying to like stick them up, and then you're selling it to these kinds of people, and then these people be able to like use these super high tech freaking weapons, like super over upscaling, like overpowered freaking weapons for a certain small freaking jobs, right? They use these freaking things, and it shows like that. And Spider-Man's motivation, looking out for the little guy, looking at, it started off with just the laugh, like bodega. Is this a bodega? What do you call this freaking guy? This guy is selling the best sandwiches in all of Harlem. Harlem and all of freaking Queens, right? Yeah, selling the best sandwiches of all of freaking Queens. And then we got to like get this freaking thing about them, and we got to see Spider-Man is like very well written. Well, his motivation in this freaking story, how he does it is really good. But the thing about it, the good thing, that's a really good thing about it, right? It's very well made, this animation, because you see this freaking overpowered weapons being used in like a much more smaller crimes that Spider-Man should be able to handle without any freaking problem. But he sees this, like he sees this freaking call to action. Maybe this is the big freaking thing. Like, he wants to be able. He wants like the contrast between these two freaking characters of like Vulture not wanting to go for the big thing, right? Not wanting to go to the big thing, but he doesn't seem freaking desperate enough to be able to do the big thing, because all they want to do is lay low and do the small freaking things. But here it comes freaking Spider-Man wanting to make the big thing, but always keeps doing the small, like who wants to do the big thing, but like it's stuck with like being it's stuck in doing the small freaking things, right? And then Vulture also like can do the big thing, but wants to just who can do the big thing, has the opportunity to be able to do the big thing, but just wants it to like stick with the freaking small fucking stuff. That's a good freaking contrast between these two freaking characters, and we get to see them. And it's very well made when it comes to freaking Vulture saying all these freaking things, and much more better when it comes to the villainous freaking parts in this freaking movie. It's like Spider-Man like showing this freaking he's still a freaking kid, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't show that it doesn't show that he looks like a freaking sophomore at freaking high school, man. But he does. He looks young enough to be able to do it, and it's kind of nice. I they both like there's this freaking contrasting when it comes to freaking ideals on how they should be able to do this. But it doesn't seem like there seems like a great ass contrast between these two freaking characters, and it seems to be like a good ass freaking clash of freaking morals or ideals when it comes to the world and how the world should be able to do it, how the world freaking works, right? Because when it comes to freaking Spider-Man, it's still freaking idealism of how things should be done. And when it comes to like freaking Vulture, it's just a matter of freaking necessity and freaking realism of how the world freaking works. It's just they don't fucking actually care about the small freaking stuff. That's why Vulture was able to get out of it for so freaking long, right? Vulture was able to like get away with it for far freaking long because his theory, the way he sees the world is that nobody cares about the small freaking stuff. But here we go, Spider-Man comes shows up because there's somebody who cares about the freaking little guy now. You get to see like Spider-Man like somebody who cares about the little guy, but it doesn't show that much. It shows in this freaking movie how he does it. It doesn't show, or it hasn't been said, right? It hasn't been said, but it shows. It's an unspoken thing that somehow we're able to know and freaking recognize. But now that we recognize it, it's much more freaking solid and it's much freaking greater. The movie feels so much better for me understanding this now when it comes to this freaking too. And it seems like a good freaking way to be able to like do freaking villains when it comes to having villains, yeah, having villains and freaking heroes, having two antagonists and protagonists. The conflict lies when how they see the freaking world, how they choose to be able to like interact with the freaking world, and how to be able to like uh, go on and live and finally get to be able to live in this freaking world. Sometimes it is like that, but it doesn't seem this freaking drastic thing in need. At this freaking point, 8 years afterwards, it doesn't seem like it is needed from freaking Vulture to keep on doing this freaking thing. Unless we get to be shown that the fucking school is expensive, whatever like school Peter Parker goes to is he's there because he's fucking smart, and he's there because he's really smart and he has a freaking scholarship. That's why Peter Parker is there, right? Something really good to be able to be shown when it comes to this freaking school that Miles Morales was done, right? When it comes to freaking Miles Morales in Spider-Man into Spider-Verse, that's my actual freaking. I know when it comes to freaking Spider-Man, Miles Morales is like my Spider-Man. Okay, like I kind of like was back in the day. I was kind of like low key hating on freaking Peter Parker, but Peter Parker is the OG, so we gotta like give respects and like actually understand and make it better in here. Anyways, when it comes to do this, yeah, yes, you got to be able to be shown that probably Peter Parker is there with a freaking scholarship. He's there on a scholarship in a grant because he was there. He was like given the chance because he's so freaking smart. But it's probably a school that he cannot freaking afford, right? It's something like that. But we get to see more of this. But we get to see instead the Stark freaking internship. The Stark internship is supposed to be able to like elevate Peter Parker into a place where to be able to be seen that Peter Parker is special and special in this freaking situation to the freaking people around him, right? This be him being Spider-Man. Aside from him being Spider-Man, but we get to see that he is very very smart for like he is the smartest one due to freaking dialogue as they freaking recognize him in the decathlon and this freaking quiz in the decathlon and this freaking people. I don't know what a decathlon is. I've never been. I don't have my school that I went to doesn't have this freaking kind of thing. The decathlon that be able to like group activities or like after school programs that he is in. He's in a lot of freaking after school freaking programs, but it's just like because of this Stark freaking internship, he's trying to let go of all of these things because he's trying to rush himself, not trying to like really put himself into the place where it's much more better. Like trying to be an adult, like work like going faster than wanting to become an adult as quickly as possible because those were adult things do. And that's the thing that when it comes to like freaking teenagers, like trying to become, they want to become as faster, but it's like they need to enjoy being a freaking kid, right? And when it comes to being a kid, that's like what they do. Kid freaking stuff. It's kind of nice, but it's kind of weird too, right? Uh, because when it comes to kid freaking stuff, kids that be able to do it, look out for the little guy. When it comes to us, like we look out for the freaking kids, right? It's kind of like that. It's trying to look out for like the growing, or when it comes to like the parts that these days is to look out for those freaking things. So like probably no accepting a freaking much more lower role in freaking life because I wanted to become a freaking businessman, maybe freaking streaming to little freaking children and trying to give them and understand freaking things, just looking out for the little guy. Making children understand the deeper meaning of other freaking things, right? Trying to make it freaking deeping and trying to make it much more beautiful and trying to understand these freaking films like that because kids usually when it comes to superheroes it's just kids that is being attracted when it comes to this freaking audience, but it's not always like that because we all are freaking kids in deep inside of us and we want to be a freaking kid again and we like to be freaking a kid again, but it's not always the same thing, right? We watch these freaking movies to be able to do those freaking things to us, but we understand that we are freaking adults and we got to like be able to like say this freaking and do this freaking fucking teach. No, never thought I'd be able to like be a person to like who teaches. All I never thought was like I feel like I'm teaching because I am explaining. Because I am explaining and because I am like doing all these freaking things, it feels like I am teaching, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm freaking doing. It's interacting with freaking kids, I guess, when it comes to this freaking website. Mostly it's just younger freaking people, right? Mostly it's just younger freaking people, and that is just me. More empathizing more and making things about me, I guess. But that is what it is, right? Looking out for the freaking little guy. Overall, it's like looking out for the freaking little guy. But it comes to those, but as a matter of fact, when it comes to like dealing with the freaking little guys, all these freaking methods of other things of being able to like deal with freaking crimes that are being done towards these freaking people is just crazy insane. Because nobody actually tries to give a fuck about it, but it's actually like a much more crazy ass freaking things because it's when it comes to small freaking crimes, it's kind of crazy insane. Yeah, it's just hard for me to be able to like explain it in a much more better way that somehow looking out for the little guy is also in the same way in term looking out for the little kids, because somehow when it comes to these freaking things it goes and blows out of freaking proportion to what it's doing, especially in the freaking movie. Like the freaking villains are people who are dealing with freaking children or dealing with the small freaking stuff, are having these kinds of freaking like technology that are just way too freaking overpowered and way too much towards for for the action that is freaking needed. And sometimes it is kind of like that. And so we have these freaking heroes that will still be able to like do this freaking stuff, even if it's just like small freaking stuff, right? Like showing that actually calling them out and all these freaking things. When it comes to actual freaking bullies, it's just need to call them out, even if it doesn't like blow up into a huge ass freaking viral freaking thing, right? But calling them out at the first place, it starts with like small people, or like it starts in the small freaking scale of just one freaking person calling them out and saying what you're doing is probably freaking wrong. What you're doing is wrong, right? What you're doing is not right. For what you're doing is not right. It starts with like small people. Start with a small group amount of people that eventually blows up and becomes freaking huge. That's the concept of freaking virality, because small things that we somehow be able to, like a lot of us being able to agree with, but these people are getting away with it because their techniques and methods are still in the same freaking methods. Their techniques and methods in the job that they're doing or the crime that they're doing. Let's say simple the thing as like freaking bullying, right? Like they made this person get kicked out. Okay, I'm saying it again. They made this person get kicked out because kicked out of a 40,000 tournament because he was like freaking passionate about it. He needs it. He needs to win the tournament because that's what tournaments are for, right? To be able to go there and wanting to freaking win. And some of these people don't want to freaking win in these freaking ways, which seems like a complete breaking of what it is. What's the point of being in a tournament in the freaking first place if that's their freaking cause? But they somehow be able to like have these freaking techniques and things to be able to like do to this freaking person. They freaking bullied him. They freaking said all these things about them, posted all these things about them, but it somehow freaking backfired because there are people who stands out for the person being bullied. Not just because the person, yeah, there are people who want to stand out for this freaking people. Like there are people who wants to stand out for like small freaking viewer freaking person, right? It's probably had this person probably had like a smaller viewership than them. As the things that it was done, it was like that in the first freaking movie. And then we get to see Stark. Stark still looking out for the little guy, still like wanting to be able to like see things or how like things would be able to grow, or how a person should be able to grow, and still paying attention towards them. Yes, he is always freaking there, and it's a good freaking start of how father figures, I guess, are being shown when it comes to freaking movies and all those freaking things, right? Because he's still someone who's looking out for the little guy. He saw things. He saw the little guy, which is Spider-Man. When it comes to like in this situation, right? Like Spider-Man is freaking this the little guy. He was able to try mentor him and like and try to mentor him or like teach him or lead him the way to what is this proper, what it is proper, or what it is freaking needed to him to become as a much more better freaking hero, to become, to be recognized, or to be seen, or to become really becoming itself a better freaking hero. And when it comes to those freaking things, we get to see him also doubt himself when it comes to like situations because later on at the freaking end of the movie, when he took off the suit from him, when he was saying all those freaking things, later on they have this freaking conversation. It's a good way for you to be able to like do this. Let's just say it was like that because he still has freaking doubts. He's not whatever it is that he's trying to teach him is not like that. He just took it away from him because he's being trying to do too much, right? when it comes to us being teenagers, when I was a teenager, I was indeed trying to do too much. I was like pushing myself into like growing up, into like trying to be an adult already, and trying to do these freaking things. But sometimes in the freaking methods, in the ways that being able to go be and try to be that thing, we end up being having more damage to the freaking things around us. We ended up doing more wrong than freaking what it is needed. Sometimes to ourselves, but sometimes it's much crazier if it's to other freaking people. But it doesn't mean that the damage that we've done to ourselves is much less than the damage that we do to the rest of the freaking people around us. Doesn't mean that they are like they are it's much less. It doesn't mean that it's they are on a different freaking level. Sometimes they do. Like tearing up risking the lives of like people in a freaking ferry, probably probably a much better be seen as like something that has been like that, right? Probably is risking the lives of the people in a freaking ferry. It's probably something than just much more heavier or much more needed. Some slapping in the freaking. It needs to be your suit being taken than just saying that you are a freaking failure or stating that you are a fucking failure or understanding that you freaking failed, because it needed to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that, but it needed to be like that to really really nail it down as to what they do for being freaking heroes, right? In the job of freaking heroes, you're not like somehow you needed that freaking lesson for Spider-Man to understand that he's not that freaking guy, right? Or somehow yet, but it is a good freaking conflict. But he's still be able to do it because the thing that Stark said, if you actually, you don't need the freaking suit, right? You don't need the suit to be able to do that freaking thing, and it needed it. Like it was said to him, and it's somehow be able to like do those freaking things. And for a freaking joke, it was like to like add more weight to add more character and depth to freaking Tony Stark. It's like he did it. Add more humanity to Tony Stark, right? Depth, like all those freaking things. It's just much more human. Is that he had doubts when he said those freaking things toward Spider-Man, and then we get to see this freaking actualization of like he doesn't need the fucking suit when he was just, come on, Spider-Man. Like when he was like carrying these freaking boulders that had just like crashed down upon him and was like carrying it and like, pushing it. Even I am as a fucking boy was like, come on, you can do it. Everyone goes, you can do it, Spider-Man. Something like that. Nice freaking. It was a nice actualization of him being able to do that. Yes, but sometimes we do those freaking things, right? Sometimes probably we are. And sometimes adults are freaking wrong. uh, Adults are freaking wrong in their judgment towards us because it comes from a form of freaking protection as to what we is needed. And sometimes, as freaking adults, it's sometimes kind of like that, right? Looking at this freaking movie, probably when a kid really wants to freaking push it and really wants to like go forward and try to do it, let's like have them try. But have them freaking try or seem to be able to like the way we understand things. Yes, the risk, probably try in like a much more lower risk kind of situation, and that's what like Spider-Man kind of did, supposedly to be able to do it like that. But like the safety precautions are like been taken away. He freaking hacked. It seems already that he needed it, right? When it comes to the hacking freaking scene of the freaking suit, it symbolizes and shows the way of freaking Spider-Man's competence to be able to like take on. That's like really shows like he it like it shows us to us like a freaking viewers that he is ready to take on. Yes, it feels like a freaking cheating. It feels like freaking cheating, but hacking a $200 suit doesn't seem like an easy freaking feat. That's when it thinks, and that's when I understand and realize and know that he is freaking ready to be able to take on the freaking bigger freaking things. Sometimes we need those freaking kinds of signs, and sometimes it does need to be able to like uh a person breaking the freaking rules. Breaking the rules? Sometimes breaking the rules. Sometimes it's kinda like that when it comes to freaking watching freaking movies, they do say break the freaking rules. But for me, as somebody who's trying to grown up, it's kind of like a different freaking way. It's hard for me to be able to empathize with it because I have been always shown that breaking the rules is freaking wrong. I have been always like shown in the wrong in my freaking ways, but probably the way I idealize myself, right? Like when it comes, probably I am a freaking villain because the way I see things, the way I've been growing up, the way I've grown up, I probably am a freaking villain because I am in the freaking wrong. I am not the hero of the freaking story. I break the rules to be able to understand and actualize that maybe I am freaking right. But as I've been shown, because of the things that I've broken when I was broken, the rules I've broken, I've been shown that I was freaking wrong. And I've been wrong all this freaking time. And trying to find something where I'm right with is kind of freaking a hard freaking way to be able to like see. And sometimes when it comes to this, me talking to these freaking things, breaking the freaking rules, breaking freaking TOS, probably whatever it is that I'm freaking trying to do is kind of probably it, right? I don't know. I'm freaking wrong when it comes to these freaking things. When it comes to freaking breaking rules, kids, it doesn't always pay right. Sometimes, sometimes your intuition is freaking wrong, and the way you see things is wrong. Sometimes you are the villain of the freaking story, and I have been the villain all this freaking time, and I just feel, and now that I'm a freaking grown ass man, I still think that I have been the villain all this freaking time, and I'm trying to right my freaking ways, trying to right my freaking ways, and trying to understand freaking movies, and trying to understand when should I break the freaking rules. It's not just a matter of freaking intuition. It's not just a matter of freaking times when you always feel like you're always right. It's not those freaking times. It's kind of weird that it is like that. When should you break the freaking rules? You know? When you really think that when you're breaking the rules, when you break the rules, you should break the rules when it is to benefit for somebody else and not your freaking benefit. When it somehow feels like it is bigger than yourself, when you needed what you needed to be able to do. Now that's what makes a freaking hero, right? Breaking the rules when it things are needed to be done. It's needed to be done not just because of your self freaking benefit, but for something freaking bigger. I guess that's why they were able to get away with breaking their freaking rules and other people, because other people are also involved. But what if my freaking theory is still freaking wrong? I am still freaking thinking that breaking the rules for the sake of other people might be freaking right in some or certain kind of way, but how you break the freaking rules is just another freaking different kind of way, you know? It's a different kind of way of like asking myself when and how. These days, for me, I don't even know. Sometimes I don't know, but it comes to this freaking movie. It is said to break the freaking rules when others feel like it's needed from breaking others. When you somehow think that it is bigger than yourself now, because other people are gonna be much more in harm. Like he just pursued the freaking vulture. He was pursuing the freaking vulture or trying to catch the freaking vulture because he doesn't seem like this is the big freaking thing that's gonna get him to become a freaking Avenger. It doesn't show that it is like that. Yes, part of him sees it probably, but it doesn't freaking show. It shows more of our freaking hero Peter Parker going in and breaking the freaking rules and going for the vulture because he sees the freaking possible harm that these things are being done to his community. He's seen it freaking firsthand, right? Due to these freaking guns and how these freaking guns are, how these weapons are being sold and being made. And so he needs to like take on this freaking thing because nobody is freaking listening to him. Like Happy doesn't seem to take him seriously. Like then it comes this freaking situation is kind of like that. It seems like there are freaking steps and ways to be able to see when you should be able to break the freaking rules. Break the rules when nobody freaking listens to you or somebody thinks you think the gravity of the situation is much more higher than how everybody sees it. But to have that instinct, to have that intuition to be able to see things as things being bigger than what it is very hard to be able to do. Yes, it is very obvious when it comes to freaking movies and what it is needed to be done when it comes to these things, right? Because the movies, it's much more easier to be able to like understand these freaking things, but it's very very hard in real life, and I've been wrong so freaking many times because in real life I have been the villain. I am a I'm a bad boy. Fuck. And it yeah, I'm a very bad boy. Okay. There's yeah. And I guess it's like Spider-Man was able to do that, and he seems to be able to like his competence was there, but he hacked into it, and then it was shown that his competence is not there yet. We get to be able to see that he's not very there yet, as he was like interacting with the AI of the freaking suit. It was he interacting with Karen, and yeah, the way he was like doing this freaking webs that are like coming out. It's just the web situation and all those freaking things. He doesn't understand it, but he is there already, right? So he has been like punished when it comes to this freaking thing. So like freaking cheating your way into when you are freaking ready. But it seems like for me, he is ready. He is ready in the way he is supposed to be able to do. He is ready for whatever it is that it is to come. It shows us viewers that it's like that, but it's somehow being punished that don't eat your way when it, like all these freaking things. But he was able to like learn this in a matter of a night. He was able to learn it in a night's freaking time, what it is to be done, because like it's just freaking semantics and the freaking techniques and all those freaking things. He already knows it, right? He knows how to do it. He knows how to execute. He's competent enough. He just doesn't know the freaking words yet to use. But in itself, in freaking practice, he is already freaking there, right? Like Spider-Man is already in there in that situation, and that was the thing that was shown when it comes to this gag, this jokes in time or this gag situation. And yeah, Gabriela, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And that was that. Okay. It's a fun movie. Anything else about it? Yeah, so looking out for the little guy when it comes to the freaking end about it. When it comes to like, and at the end of it, when it comes to he thought it was a test, but he did really something really cool, and still got the freaking suit. It's not the suit that he used much more later on, but he's still the same freaking suit that was confiscated from him. The suit that he hacked, that's what the suit that he got. It's not the brand new one that was made. It's kind of crazy, insane. It was like that. Anything about it? This time, at the point of the freaking thingy, that's what I liked about it, and this contrast of ideals when it comes to this freaking two, conflicting one, the adult and the child, and the child teaching the adult what it means to what is right from the freaking adult. But sometimes it's just a good freaking thing because sometimes adults are freaking wrong, and this is a great situation where adults are freaking wrong. Yes, they're being tailored like that. So you shouldn't overextend it yourself. You shouldn't overextend. You shouldn't overextend it yourself. That's how you get punched in the face. Yes, he overextended himself. Right? It's because of these freaking things. We're trying to risk way too much when it comes to other things, but it's just crazy ass freaking conversations. But there are things that they agree upon when it comes to preservation of human life. When it comes to like understanding when and how to freaking kill. Things you are needed to do to be able to like, do things. And when it comes to like freaking Vulture, he needed to freaking kill him. He has Spider-Man has to die to be able to like preserve his freaking situation or whatever it is that he's trying to do. it's a good freaking thing. So whatever it is that it's saying when it comes to those freaking stuff, right? It's kind of nice, but it's a little bit unbelievable and a little bit unbelievable for me. But it's freaking good when it comes to him. Uh, him as a freaking father who cares for his freaking daughter, and understanding that that's a really good thing for me. That's a really good way of like portraying freaking Vulture. It was like I won't freaking kill you because you save my freaking daughter. That's a nice freaking aspect of it, right? That's a good that's freaking aspect of like whatever it is that they do in this freaking way. And yeah, and as they do it in this freaking way, it's we're able to understand that there's still a little bit of like good in this freaking person, and we're able to like see, we see that he is not completely lost yet, and he has like some things to be stand for, and there are things he stands for, even though he easily killed the first shocker. He easily killed the first shocker, but it didn't. He didn't because he thought it was the anti-gravity gun, whatever it is he's trying to do to the shocker. But they killed him. He freaking killed him, and he got away with freaking killing somebody because that is one crazy ass freaking violent freaking overpowered weapons. Again, they were making overpowered weapons even for themselves. It seems like these weapons are very very overpowered. There, it's kind of like that. It was like this in this freaking movie. It's nice. Yeah, this freaking thing about them caring for the same freaking person. Just nice. Be able to see him freaking Spider Man. And then later on in the freaking movie, he still freaking didn't kill the freaking still didn't kill Vulture. Then the post credit scene, it is like, we ever heard the freaking rumors that you know freaking Spider Man? And it was like, if I knew it, if I know if I knew him, he would have been dead. Which is a crazy ass freaking thing when it comes to like a crazy ass freaking line. If you really knew Spider Man, if you really knew how Spider Man freaking works, he would have been freaking actually died. He would have actually died. But Spider Man surprised everyone because his character developed, or he developed this freaking. He was able to like rise to the occasion and be able to like do, not freaking fail and not have performance freaking issues. This is overall fighting in an invisible freaking jet and doing all those freaking things is insane. And after that, he gets to be recognized as someone who was able to like work with freaking adults, but somehow he was able to like say, uh, I'm gonna look out for the little guy still, and it's just a really good situation of him recognizing that he still needs to be a freaking kid. He's there wanting to be above all everything else, like let go of his freaking high school situation, doesn't care about his freaking classes. Right? He was there being shown doesn't care about his classes because he knows he can be able to like he has the ability to be able to like rush and to have a shortcut. Right? We have choosing freaking shortcuts. He did a shortcut when it comes to the freaking suit. That's and he got freaking punished for his freaking shortcuts, right? But he was able to like still be able to like conquer this punishment and to rise above it and still be able to show. And so that it really really shows in this freaking movie that he's able to rise above his freaking child, is no longer cannot be treated as a freaking kid. That he is like on the freaking level of a fucking adult and he's not a fucking kid, but he still wants to be a kid at the freaking end. He wants to look out for the little guy. This shows that he still wants to be a kid. He still wants to be treated. He still wants to act as a kid or like have the normal freaking path of a fucking. I guess that's what it's supposed to be in the freaking end, but it shows there, but it doesn't show much. But it's kind of like understood that it is like that. But it would be great if it was like shown in the freaking end that how he wants to still be in it. Because Decathlon is still trying these classes and all those. It's nice. That Spider-Man Homecoming is so freaking nice. They got this freaking themes towards it that is crazy and really good. Uh, yeah, these are some of it. Some freaking aspects of freaking Spider-Man that should be done. Iris here. Hi, Iris. Welcome to the freaking stream. Yeah. Thank you so much for following the stream. I'm It's going fine. I'm about to freaking end stream because I'm about to finish up talking about freaking Spider-Man, and that's about it. Yeah. Uh, that's about it. Not as good as no, it's not the perfect freaking movie. No movie is freaking perfect because when it comes to these freaking things, what is freaking needed, or what is needed, or what it is that the vision that's supposed to be done is done freaking perfectly well. But there are like other themes and things about it that is just like probably not thought about, or like as a viewer, you only thought about it. You like, well, it's freaking good. It's freaking good. The movie is good. The movie is freaking good when you're like watching in there and you believe whatever it is that's going on when it comes to this freaking character. Yes, it's like freaking believable to have like a freaking man putting up freaking webs and like swinging in a crazy ass freaking situations. Yes, those things are unbelievable, but you believe the freaking character and what he is. Now, and overall, when it comes to this freaking thing, believe like a good freaking person, or what is portrayed to be freaking good, or what is seen to be freaking good, have like you make sense and how they're freaking motivated as, right? How and why they're freaking moving like this, or why they're doing this, or why they're saying freaking words is just much more believable as to why. You kind of understand this freaking whatever it is that they're going through, and doesn't always have to make sense, but it's great when it comes to make sense, when everything somehow makes freaking sense. And in this movie, a lot of it somehow makes freaking sense when it comes to Peter Parker's motivations, why he's doing this, how he's supposed to be doing this. It makes freaking sense. It makes sense that he's still somehow being shown like it's believable that he still acts like a kid, as someone from freaking high school, and even though the freaking actor is probably somewhere in his 20s, it makes sense. Is he in his 20s, or was he 19 or 18 when he was like doing this movie? It's probably in that freaking age, right? Yeah. Tom Holland's probably in that freaking age. Anyways, it's still freaking believable. The freaking Yeah, something that takes out the believableness when it comes to these things, freaking heroes. And again, when it comes to villains, there isn't just crazy ass freaking villains. Because the greatest Marvel freaking movie is when the heroes fights themselves. Like somehow that's somehow the best freaking movie so far. And I was like watching this back in the day. Like when the heroes fight themselves, that's when things are freaking good. And they have this chicken jockey moment. Chicken jockey moment, because these days the chicken jockey moment for me is like in akin. When I say chicken jockey moment, I connect it, or I make it similar as to people going crazy in the theaters when a certain scene comes on. That's a chicken jockey moment. And it was like, holy freaking shit. They're like that in the movie. And sometimes the chicken jockey, as chicken jockey in itself, feels like performative for me. I don't understand it why kids freaking love the chicken jockey moment, but I do know what the action is meant. But it seems performative for me when it comes to the chicken jockey moment, that they don't. It's not because it's because of a freaking meme. It's because it was done by people. It was done by other people, and now we're doing it for ourselves, not understanding what's the meaning or what's the point of a freaking chicken jockey, right? And then everybody's just going freaking crazy in the freaking theaters. But this chicken jockey moment for me is Captain America like holding that freaking. Why am I talking about chicken jockey? There's no chicken jockey moment. There is a chicken jockey moment for me. I was like cheering, trying to cheer the freaking screen. I was like, "You got it, freaking Spider Man!" But he was like pushing his No, no, I don't do that. Oh my god. Emotes, yeah, I'll do it probably when I have freaking money. But these days, I kind of don't need it when it comes to my freaking chat. But I kind of like want to have my own freaking emotes because it feels kind of like icky when other streamers' emotes are being used in my chat. But it seems nice. Yeah, it seems nice to have emotes, but I can't afford it right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, my budget is freaking zero. If you can do it for free, then go ahead and uh, drop your freaking whatever it is you're trying to do. But if you're not doing it for free for me, it's just nah, I'd rather not. Let's just end the conversation here. Yeah. Uh, you don't need to reply or anything else. I appreciate it though that you like coming up and like offering this freaking having emails for my stream, but can't afford it right now. Yes. Thank you so much. Hey Momo, welcome to the stream. I'm about to end it. I'm about to end freaking stream now, like talking about freaking Spider Man. I'm like, yeah, because I'm running, I'm running out of things to say. I'm running out of things to say, and I'm gonna go watch. I wanna go watch. What is this? I gotta need to like some variety when it comes to my movie freaking diet, and then trying to watch something else before I go to watch what comes after Spider Man. Anyways, before I go watch other Marvel movies, I'm gonna go watch Wicked, not Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good, the second Wicked movie. And yeah, and 28 years later. Kind of like good. 28 days later was kind of like a zombie freaking masterpiece when it comes to zombie post apocalyptic freaking world. Kind of nice. Anyways, going back to freaking Spider Man, I'm gonna end it now. I'm gonna probably end it now. No, I'm not ending because you are here. I'm ending because it's like the runtime for freaking Spider Man is like almost done. The runtime for freaking Spider Man is almost done. I only need to talk about it for a freaking hour. And yeah, I'm practicing for yapping something about something for like an hour and so. And this is an hour about yapping about it. So yeah, that is Spider Man. And overall, Spider Man is a good ass movie. It was executed very well. I didn't feel like questioning a lot of other things when it comes to watching it. I was like watching it. It was nice because that's how it's supposed to be. Anyways, oh, and one more thing when it comes to like directors and like things working when it comes to like executing, trying to work with all this freaking big ass project. I guess what's needed to be done is like both freaking sides to understand it is a freaking collaborative freaking issue. It's in a collaborative freaking project. Yes, you wanted the director needs to understand that you need to freaking sell tickets and that the it needs to be the message or whatever the movie is about needs to be able to be said in like a sentence or so. It's like at least a sentence, right? At least a sentence. It can be boiled down into whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is a movie is about, is into a freaking sentence. But it's not like about that. We are not like that, right? When it comes to like for us to be making things, we want things to be layered. We want things to be nuanced. We want things to be much more than just a freaking sentence when people we can watch it. So like somehow a freaking effective movie for me is like uh somebody be able to like do those things when it comes to being creative freaking people. They want people to be able to like think about whatever it is that that they've made or whatever art that they've made to be able to like think about and thought provoke their freaking thoughts when it comes to freaking things and ignite freaking thoughts and be able to like agree upon or not agree upon when it comes to those things. But those things are hard to freaking sell. It's like it's much more better if you're able to like send a freaking message that this good, that freaking bad. But when understanding this good or that freaking bad, it's we do the thinking for the freaking viewer, and sometimes the viewers don't want that, right? When it comes to like doing those freaking things or like granting an effective freaking message, doing the thinking for the viewer isn't something that the viewer freaking wants. And for me, that's what I'm doing this. I'm not doing most of the freaking thinking. Sometimes it's just part of the freaking thinking that is being done there. It's just a freaking ignition when it on how they want to watch freaking movies, I guess. And when it comes to freaking Spider Man, it does that for me. It makes me think, and now I'm thinking as a part of freaking and a freaking aspect of like freaking Spider Man. I was able to like think and like talk about it for at least a freaking hour, for an hour. for more than freaking 10 minutes and talk about freaking how Spider-Man made me feel, or like the things and ideas that Spider-Man has like sent to me, or things ideas that I've received from watching Spider-Man. Kind of nice that it's like that. So it is kind of like that. It makes me want to buy a freaking Spider-Man T-shirt or something. I don't know. It makes me want to buy freaking tickets for the next freaking Spider-Man movie, or like to be able to like understand and watch more freaking movies, right? Watch more Spider-Man. It makes me want to watch more Spider-Man. It makes me want to think about Spider-Man a lot. And having this freaking thought-provoking moments is probably what's gonna be able to make people sell, right? Uh, it's no longer about thinking. It's no longer associating just a good freaking thing about an object. It's to be able to like explain this to freaking executives that when it comes to freaking selling things, it's no longer just about it being a freaking good thing. It's about it identifying with a freaking person, identifying, being personalized, and being able to a person being able to say that is freaking me. And when I buy these freaking things, it shows me. It shows what I am or what I stand for, like something like that. And when those freaking things are much more triggered, it's much more better than for freaking people to like go and buy freaking merch when they think that the merch it's speaking that, or like showing that it is themselves. And to do that, you have to have thought-provoking freaking stories to be able to tell, and not just uh stories that being saying this is good because I say so it is good, but for the freaking viewer to say this is good because I think this is good, not because movie says this is good, because I think and I know because I am and I know this is good. That's something like that. And that is the end of my freaking that is the end of my whatever it is that I'm saying. And just a little bit more after a few more freaking minutes, and that's all about freaking Spider-Man and how Spider-Man Homecoming is that freaking good of a movie. And I need to freaking match the energy. I need to try to be as good when I'm trying to explain my Spider-Man, because it's a good freaking movie. I think it is a good freaking movie. So gotta match whatever it is that I'm trying to like do, I guess. It's a 90, man. It's a 90. I know it's a 7 point something in freaking IMDb, but it's a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's almost a 4 in freaking Letterboxd. But it is a good freaking movie. Okay, it's a 4 in Common Sense. So those are the freaking rating. I know there are like other freaking websites to be able to like get freaking ratings, but yeah, I'm sticking with Rotten Tomatoes because I like tomatoes. Okay, I'm sticking with Rotten Tomatoes. Freaking ratings because I like tomatoes, and just for the sake of liking tomatoes, I'm going with Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, that's about it, and yeah, that's my entire freaking stream. Thank you so much. I'm probably back later on tonight and do some reacts and watch a lot of videos. But for now, this is Spider-Man Homecoming. Thank you so much for coming by the stream. Thank you so much for dropping by, and yeah, ending the stream now. Bye bye.